Hello ladies and gentlemen, Boltor here, and welcome to today's video. Now today, I wanted to do a deck discussion, deck spotlight video on the first deck that was sent to me on the forums through a private message. This is Sorcerer455's LifeGain Angels deck. The deck I'm affectionately calling Who Needs Soldiers? Because right now, pretty much the only order deck that's actually viable is the soldiers, the Order Corruption Soldiers deck. So this deck plays absolutely no soldiers, so we're going to dive right on into it, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, I wanted to build the deck right in front of you, though I also wanted to play some games with it, but that's going to have to wait for another day, because at least at the time of this recording, the servers were still a little, I did 3 games against the AI just to get a quest done, and each one of those 3, the games froze, the, creatures were in mid-combat and combat wasn't resolving, so that'll have to wait for another day. Hopefully I'll be able to do one of those on Friday, but if not, I'll do another deck discussion. Now, since this deck plays no soldiers, there's obviously no use for basic Alexa, so we're going to go right in and grab the advanced Alexa for her ability, because the deck plays 10 angels, and so you have a 1 in 6 roughly chance of getting an angel with her ability. Now, the mana base is extremely straightforward. You're going to play 20 Order Shrines. You're also going to play 2 Triangelica. Now, because the deck plays 10 angels, it doesn't max out on angels. Triangelica isn't exactly the the point of the deck. The point of the deck is to win through a life gain, to get that 40 life, and to stall your opponent until you can do so. And because it's playing no soldiers, obviously we're not going to be playing Soldiers Memorial. Now, you could bump this up to 3 Triangelica. Personally, I like 2, and that's also what Sorcerer sent me, so I'm building this straight from Sorcerer's list, the numbers and the cards specifically. Now let's dive right on into the creatures. Now we're going to play 4 Relic Guard, Relic Guard being the best anti-aggro 1-drop in the game. It just stops pretty much everything. The only thing it doesn't really stop is that really fast elf that I am blanking on the name, Elf Scout I think it is. But that's fine because it's only pushing through 1 damage at any rate. Next we're going to play 2 Namir. Namir in the deck because everything in the deck is either a priest, an angel, or also a knight. So you get to use both of his abilities, although you're primarily using him for his life gain ability that you can also abuse with Path of Transcendence. Next, we're going to play 2 Spellweaver. Anyone who's played this card knows that you can lock down a Fireball, you can lock down Dragon's Breath, you can lock down Electrostatic Storm, you can lock down Cataclysm. Anything that you think your opponent's going to use to screw over your strategy, you can prevent them from using with Spellweaver. Next, we're going to play 4 Sunblessed Priest. This one's pretty straightforward. It's got Lifebound. You're trying to win through life gain. That's about as easy as it gets. Next, we're going to play 4 Sunblessed Knights. It's a priest, it's a knight, so you get both of Namir's abilities through it. Plus, it helps you ramp for your Words of Grace and getting your angels out earlier. Speaking of angels, first we're going to play 4 Protector of the Innocent. Just a very straightforward, very strong, very value creature. It blocks everything, so it's very good on the defensive. Another angel that's really good on the defensive, we're going to play 4 Guardian of the Faithful. Obviously, this is just if your opponent's going to try and swing with a whole lot of dudes, then she just prevents them from doing anything to you. She's also a great deterrent because anything that attacks, if they attack with too much, then you can sacrifice her and get great value out of the card. And finally, we're going to play 2, Antriel, Patron of the Sunblessed. Now, you could play more. I assume it's 2 because Sorcerer455 only had access to 2. Tat 2. So, but this card is obviously very good in the deck. It gives all your creatures Lifebound, allows you to gain a lot of life very fast. She's also got Lifebound, so she's going to be gaining you 6 life, or less, depending on who she's blocking. So, this is one of the cornerstones of the deck. She's also more angels, so that you can get Triangelica online even faster. Now that's going to do it for creatures. Let's move on to spells. First, we're going to play 4 Pacify, the best removal in the game. It hits anything as long as it's trying to attack you, and anything that's not trying to attack you, hey, it's outside of Succubus, it's probably not going to be doing any kind of damage to you. Another card that's in this deck that you don't see a lot of is Namir's Blessing. First off, it's a cantrip. It replaces itself in your hand. You play it, you draw a card. So you get to cycle cards that way. It's also extremely good for putting on Namir himself, or Antriel, or a Spell Warden. I mean, think about it. If you put this on a Spell Warden, that's the spell that Spell Warden has is locked down permanently. I can't think of a way that that combo can be broken up. Now next, the deck plays 2 Exercise. I know this isn't Richard Simmons kind of exercise. This is more the Exorcist kind of exercise. It gets rid of curses, so it gets rid of maddening thoughts. It gets rid of electrostatic storm. It gets rid of endless tunes. All cards that could potentially be an issue for you. Plus, it's also a cantrip, so if you can destroy something with it, you can cycle it, through out of your hand and hopefully draw into something perhaps a little more useful, or maybe you get that word of grace that you're digging for that you need in order to win. Speaking of word of grace, there it is. The deck only plays 2 of them. Now, it only plays 2 of them because you're not really diving too deep into order levels. You're getting up to maybe 4 with Antriel, but even then, you're kind of hoping to cheat her into play with Alex's ability anyway. So use this card more to try and get over that last hurdle. So maybe you're at 34, 36, and you need just that little bit. Word of Grace is there to get you to 40. It's not really there to gain 8 or 10 life, So that's why there's only 2 of them in the deck. Also, it's another cantrip, another play it and draw a card. Now, last but not least, the deck plays 2 Path of Transcendence. You use Path of Transcendence to buff your life-bound creatures so you gain that much more life while you're attacking or blocking with them. You also use it to abuse Spell Warden and Namir's Enter the Battlefield ability. The reason you play 2 instead of 4 is because you're not really looking to abuse a lot of Enter the Battlefield abilities. You have only 2 that are really worth abusing, so that's why only 2. You could bump it up to 4. That's going to be your own personal preference. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the deck. If you did, I'll post a link to the database page below along with the forums. If you like the video, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. That really helps me out, and it helps make Spellweaver even bigger. Like I said, I really want to do a gameplay video for this deck, but we'll see how the servers are when I record again. If not, I'll do another deck discussion or a deck spotlight video. If you want your deck spotlighted, send it to me on the Spellweaver forums. I'm Boltor on the Spellweaver forums. And we'll just wrap up this video here. May the cards rise to meet you, and bring good RNG to your enemies' enemies.